Do you think you perform better under them circumstances, where it's that do or die?
Yeah, I always have. When somebody writes me off, and in this sort of environment, I think I perform better.
Yeah.
And as you can probably tell, I'm really fired up, and I'm going to make an example of this guy who I'm fighting, and not sound brutal, but I want to hurt him bad. And I'm going to really do damage to him.
Get what's what we track for. Some man they wanna chat shit till I knock them ain't like I'm Jack Shaw. Rolls hat, rolls back, my flow sharp like a hacksaw.
Right, everyone, welcome back to episode 21 of the Tanked Up podcast. Our guest today is Welsh boxing star, multiple-time British and Commonwealth champion, world title contender, sold out multiple arenas across Wales over the past few years, and he is now fighting on the 25th of November at the York Hall in London. The one and only Liam the Machine Williams.
How's it going, lads? You right? All good, yeah?
Yeah, all good, mate. Thanks very much for coming.
Anytime, boys, anytime.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know...
Well, obviously, yeah, we got like a big MMA following. We got a couple of, obviously, boxing fans. Obviously, if they're a fan of Welsh boxing, know who you are, but just in case they don't, just give us a brief kind of how you got into the sport, as briefly as you can from the start to where you are today.
So I started boxing. I was 9 years old, and I can't remember exactly, but I think it was something along the lines of like me and the boys were out doing whatever you do at 9. It was pissing down with rain, cold, and we thought, "Bugger, let's go in the gym and just
get out of the rain,
hang around in there for an hour or two." Do you know what I mean? It's out of the rain, a bit of a fuck about or whatever it may be, and so a couple of us started, and they all dropped off day by day, week by week, whatever, and obviously realised I was quite good, so just. That was
literally
me
to get out of the rain.
That was me for 21 years up until now. Like,
was you always like a natural fighter? Or was you always interested in boxing, or was it kind of something you didn't even think about until that day you went in the boxing gym?
Yeah, didn't really think about it too much. But even from a young age, like my old man, he never fought or anything himself, but he always roughed me up, and he was like, a bit of a fighter himself, So I was always a tough kid, like. Always a tough kid growing up.
Do you think it like kept you from getting into trouble and all that sort of thing growing up? Or?
1,000,000%, yeah. Big. I would have been in God knows what trouble if I hadn't boxing,
like when everyone else starts going out and whatever on the weekends when you're like growing up and that. Did you ever get like enticed into that sort of thing, or were you able to keep it under wraps?
I can't really say I went totally without either. I did have my fair share of nights out and whatever else, but. I also missed out on a lot and sacrificed a lot as well. So, when I look back now, it's all worth it because, a lot of my other friends are, I'm not saying they're bums or anything, but they're just doing their normal jobs and everything. And I'm doing, I don't have a job. I don't look at it that way. So, I fight for a living. It's what I love doing. And, I earn good money. I don't have to get up at, whatever time in the morning and go and work for somebody else. That's the big thing for me.
Yeah, then when you were like 9, 10, 11, were you ever thinking this is going to be your life then? Was this like the vision or?
No, to be honest with you, it wasn't. I was an amateur coming through. I never even thought I was going to turn pro. I had the opportunity to turn professional. I probably never even thought I was going to be British champion. It was just like, one fight at a time and see how it goes. And then I became British champion. And then it was like, you can fight for more belts, you can fight for a world title. And I'm like, fucking hell, never really actually thought I was this good, like,
Yeah.
Was there ever, like you say, you started at 9, which is quite young, really. Was there ever a time where you dropped off and kind of thought, I'm not going to bother with that anymore? Or was it kind of, once you started, it was like, I'm just going to come that good, I'm going to keep doing this? Or was it like, because it's like as kids, you had sometimes you had 15, 16, start having girls and boys start going out in the piss, and was there a time you dropped off from it, or has it kind of always been like one track, one?
There was never really times where I dropped off. I always kept training, but there was times where, like, in my head, I thought, I don't really want to do this anymore. It's pissing me off. It's just hard work in general, but I also, when I was like 21, so when I was a kid, it was just them times which I say about, like, couldn't really be asked, just laziness really. But when I was about 20, 21, I got told by a hand doctor as well that I should retire. I've always had really bad hands. So that was a big thing for me, and it was heartbreaking. Like, I thought, this is the end for me, but pushed through, had a couple of operations, and I still have pain now. But, just get on with it, wrap my hands up well.
Was there, so how old did you when you turned pro?
18.
18, so you turned pretty much as soon as you could turn.
Turning pro as well, yeah.
So, how many amateur fights did you have, sorry?
I think it's 49.
So 49, so that's quite experienced obviously for an 18-year-old, isn't it? To then go like straight into the pro ranks, was there a big, obviously not a jump up in competition as such straight away because you have a couple to
yeah, you have
yourself.
opponents really at the start.
But how did you find it kind of transitioning from amateur pro? Obviously as an amateur it's kind of like an hobby, and you're kind of just doing it for the love of it, whereas obviously as a pro it kind of becomes your job, you've got to market yourself.
It's a business then, isn't it?
Yeah, so how did you find especially being so young anyway, because obviously at 18 you're still a fucking kid realistically. Yeah, so how did you cope with a jump from amateur to pro, like you say, in terms of having to think of yourself now as a business and this is how you're kind of going to make a living? Yeah,
obviously, to be honest with you, as you said, 18 you're still really a kid. So like I didn't have a clue about anything. I just left it down to Gary was my manager even back then. I just pretty much left everything down to him, but obviously I had to grow up in terms of, being my own man and knowing what I'm doing in terms of training, figuring out my diet and everything else. So yeah, I was still a kid, but, I learned on the job really, and it all comes to me quite fast, I guess.
My first sort of, first ever, I watched you obviously fight as an early pro because I knew Gary and Gavin and all that, but I remember the first like kind of viral, because you're a bit of a fiery fucker, I expect you want to be afraid to admit it, was what's his name, is it Corcoran or
Corcoran?
Corcoran, and that was in was I in the ice arena? Yeah, and is that viral clip of him he gets in your face like it's the wigging or the press bump him in the head. So obviously you had your fair share of rivalries and like you said, viral, fiery moments. You got him, you got Eubank, Liam Smith. Basically, who's the biggest dickhead or the kind of the one you've disliked the person you've disliked the most who you've had to fight?
You'd have to say Eubank really, wouldn't you? Because like even now,
no shock that one, is it?
Yeah, like I said, he beat me. Fair play to him. He's doing well. He's going to push on and do whatever else, but it's just somebody like even after the fight, I just would not, I didn't even want to shake his hand to congratulate him. That makes it seem a bit of a sore loser from the outside, but that's not the case. I take it on the chin, but I don't like the guy at all, and he's
one of them guys that can get under anyone's skin.
I just don't even want to look at him. I don't want to shake his hand. Just fuck off, like.
So you trained with Gary for many years up. I think it was up pretty much until you fought like Liam Smith, and then you went up to Domingo at the pretty famous gym, the Ingle Gym. People like Cal Brock, Prince Naz, loads of people have come from that sort of gym.
Billy Joe.
Billy Joe as well. Yeah. What kind of inspired that move, and how did you find your time up there?
Yeah, it was good. It was a really good move for me at the time, and while I stick by that decision, and I still, if I could go back, I would have still made that move, because as I said at the time, it worked for me. It was good for me to be away from home. I think there was a lot of distractions, whilst I was living back home, whether that be, going out for food, just doing shit I shouldn't have been doing really. So I thought if I get away, I'm up there, I'm on my own. I'm tucked away, I'm behaving myself really.
Yeah.
Isolating yourself.
And I needed that, because it got to the point where I was like, going back to the second Liam Smith fight, it was 3 weeks before that fight, and I went out, I was hammered, drinking, other things, whatever that may have been. No, but I just wasn't behaving like a professional athlete, and it was, as I said, there was a lot of things getting in my way.
And that's obviously fighting at the elite level.
Yeah, exactly. Fighting at the world level, and you can't afford to be doing them things. It was total stupidness on my behalf, really.
Yeah.
As I said, 3 weeks before the fight, I'm going out and drinking bottles of wine and smoking fags and vapes and whatever it may. Do you know what I mean? All that shit. So looking back, really, I was just immature.
Yeah. Do you get on with Liam Smith now, or is it?
I actually do. You know, I speak to him from time to time, and I actually want to see him do well. You know, he seems a good guy. He's a family man. He's got kids and missus and whatever. You just want to see people like that do well, I guess.
I see his talk with him fighting Eubank now, apparently, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's talks of him fighting Eubank in early next year.
Yeah, so you'll be rooting for
Liam
Smith now.
And you never know. I would, as long as I get myself back on course now, hopefully get 1 or 2 good wins, and hopefully I could fight the winner.
Yeah,
or
obviously
the loser, even whatever.
Yeah, like you said, you went up to Ingles' place. You went on a tear, really. Didn't you? You won the British title, defended it. God, not like 2 or 3 times. I think it was, wasn't it?
I had either 5. It was either 5 or 6 wins. Fights with Dom, 5 wins.
And then you fought Andrade. Then
yeah,
that experience. That was like a big card, pretty much, when it built around you out in was it Miami?
Yeah, it was massive. It was in Miami. Obviously, it was all new to me. I've obviously fought in big fights, but being in America for the first time, fighting for a world title, it was a lot of new things for me, and you know, I took to the occasion well, but you know, I simply got beat by the better man that night, and I still think Andrade's one. He's well up there in the pound list. I think he gives the likes of Canelo trouble.
He's an awkward guy, really awkward.
Very
style,
awkward. Southpaw, he's rangy. Skill set is, you know, off a scale, really. I think he deserves a lot more credit than what he actually gets. He's 3-time world champion, 2 different weight classes. You know, what more can you do? Yeah. You can do more, but, you know, what I'm saying is, what more do you have to do to get the people's respect?
Yeah, that back and forth with Canelo, didn't he, at the press conference, didn't he? It went viral, didn't it?
He's a bit of a strange character, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a very strange character.
I mean, the only time I'd ever watched any kind of like behind the scenes stuff was when you was fighting him. Obviously, like they got the matchroom stuff on YouTube, and I obviously knew who he was in terms of his record, and but I never like listened to interviews or anything. But obviously, since you fighting him, you kind of not fucking stay in touch anyway, but you kind of just keep an eye on him, and it's like, but he does come across as a bit of a weird guy. Like,
yeah, he is. I actually think he's. You know, after the fight, I've spoke to him a few times as well, and I actually think, he's a decent guy as well, but he's not one of us. Then let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Do you think he's playing a character then, or a little bit?
No,
or he's just who he is.
I think he's different.
He's strange, like
he's a bit different. He's a bit weird. You would say in comparison to us guys here, you know.
Yeah.
So obviously, what ultimately led to the decision to leaving Dom? Was it the time away from family? Was it just wanted to change something up? Was it kind of like you said, you picked up the loss and thought, let's have a look at other avenues?
No, to be honest with you, Jack, it was like me and Dom lost that bit of fire between us, and I haven't really said this before, but I feel like he kind of lost interest. Not in me, but in the gym and, you know, everything that he was really. So I just thought, you know, I'm putting my life in his hand. Not my life as such, but when we're in the ring, my career in his hands, yeah. And if he's not going to give me 100%, then you kind of lose that bit of respect. And you don't want to give 100% in training and everything, which obviously has a knock-on effect in the fights and you getting beaten, whatever. So, you know, I told him straight up, I said, look, I don't feel like you've got the fire that you once did. And that's me, I'm gone. You know, I'm the type of person as well, when I make my mind up on someone, you could have 1 million people tell me, you know, it's the wrong decision, you need to stay there. No, I'm gone. And that was me. I went and then joined Adam Booth, and obviously left him recently as well. So, but that weren't nothing like that. He was a really good gym. Adam was a really good guy. I just don't think it worked for me. and I needed to be at home a little bit more because I started to miss home, and miss the kids and misses and whatever else.
And like you said, I think, like you said, as a youngster, you were kind of, there's the distractions, you tend to like make the wrong choices here and there, but obviously you're a bit older now, you got a young kid, got a missus, so like you said, I suppose that the distractions are probably not there now, and it's as if, from the outside looking in, it looks like you take your career so much more seriously now than what you probably did, even though you was at that world level like 6-7 years ago. It's as if now like you are like a pro athlete, you're year round, you're in the gym, constantly.
And also it's now for me, the way I look at it, it's like it's do or die basically. Basically, I've come off 2 losses. You imagine I got into the fight in 10 days and lose. That's me done.
Yeah,
that's me. I'm finished. And I'll openly say here now, like, if I was to lose, I'm not going to, by the way, but if I was to lose, that's me. I'm retiring. That's me finished. So, looking at it from that angle, it gives me so much more fire, and I'm still only 30. I've got plenty left in the tank. So what am I going to do? I'm going to work. I'm going to go and work for somebody else, work on a site. Nah, I might fuck.
Work for yourself.
No, I might fuck. That's not happening.
I think, like you said, because you started so young, people don't understand that you are only 30. And you look at people nowadays, not like it was, I don't feel like in combat sports, it's not like it was 10 years ago where you kind of get to 31, 32 and people are like, oh, he's got to retire. It's like, you see, there's that elite level guys, and they're like, well, how old's Triple G? He's 40 plus.
He's 40, yeah.
What's Canelo? Canelo's mid-30s, I think, isn't he?
I think Canelo's maybe like 34, I think.
Yeah, Mayweather went to mid-late 30s. It's like, the times are changing now, I think, with recovery and
I think with the sports side,
yeah,
what you was going to say
the way people are training a little bit smarter now. It's kind of, no, let's go to the gym and get beasted every day. It's, you're looking after your body more, people looking after their head more, they're not sparring hard every single day of the week.
You're not running in work boots and you're actually wearing head guards and sparring and that kind of stuff. So
of course,
people do last a little bit longer, I guess.
So you got, like you said, you potentially got a good few years left in the sport yet, but like you said, you feel this fight is kind of do or die, because if you got to kind of put, like you said before we started filming, you want to put a streak together now. You want to put a couple to get yourself back in the mix for them big fight. I suppose you don't want to, being at the level you're at, you're not going to want to be kind of, like you said, fighting on a Friday night. Ultimately, you want to get back in the mix with them top guys, which is what I'm guessing is the aim.
This fight for me is like, it's great, and I appreciate everybody involved getting me on Channel 5. But if I'm being totally honest, it was a little bit disappointing. For me, it's like going and fighting in it's the York Hall. It's quite a famous place and historical and whatever else, but it's a big step back for me then from fighting in the O2 and Miami, Manchester Arena, all these kind of places. So it's a bit, and that's actually giving me a little bit more fire again, thinking I'm fucking better than this. Like, I'm going to get back where I deserve to be. Yeah. So, this, as you said, again, this fight is do or die for me, and I think I'm going to come out shining.
Do you think you perform better under them circumstances, where it's that do or die?
Yeah, I always have. When somebody writes me off, and in this sort of environment, I think I perform better.
Yeah,
and as you can probably tell, I'm really fired up, and I'm going to make an example of this guy who I'm fighting, and not sound brutal, but I want to hurt him bad. And, I'm going to really do damage to him.
Yeah, like now you've got, how old's your little one?
I got 2. My little girl's 6. She'll be 7 in February, and my boy's 18, 19 months now.
Do you think like that element of being at home and being around them in a way could fire you up, knowing like what you're doing it for as well?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously being around them, and I'm to leave them to, I could be having a good time with them, and I'm to leave them. I got to go run now. I'm leaving them in the house with the missus or whatever. It's like,
does it feel good to be back though? Because I know, like, I've been away. I got a little one. She's 15 months. If I go away for a couple of days and I come back, you notice all the changes, don't you? They change so much. So I couldn't imagine going away every week.
Yeah, it's like
imagine that was quite hard.
Even when like last night I had to go out and run, and I don't know, whatever it was, 6 miles-ish in the rain. Come back, it's freezing. I was tired, I was aching. And then just like little things, having a cut chip on the settee with the baby. And it's just like, you know, so you realise more then why you're doing it like this. Yeah. You know, this is why I'm doing it.
Extra fuel to the fire, pretty much.
Make a better family for us and for him and my little girl and everything else, you know.
So how are you finding it now? Obviously, I can imagine it's a lot better being on with a family, but obviously back down Gary's kind of back where you started your career. How are you finding it? Have you kind of just picked up where you left off? Was it kind of like took a bit of readjusting? How are you finding it as an all, especially now going into a fight? Obviously, a couple of weeks, weeks time.
I would say the readjusting thing, it only took 2-3 sessions, and that was mainly just like, you know yourself, when you're on the pads, for example, you've been with other people and you're going to have a session with somebody you haven't been with for a while. It's like that distance and the timing, and it was literally, well, it was probably a couple of rounds, but a couple of days in terms of knowing each other, the combinations and the timing of everything. We just slipped back in quickly. And if I'm being honest with you, I probably should have gone back with Gary. I don't regret my time with Adam Booth, but I made some great friendships, and me and Adam are quite close. I'm really good friends with Mick Conlon, Kurt Walker, Abbas, the other boys at the gym. I love the fact that I've been there, made them good friendships with them. But realistically, I probably should have gone back with Gary.
For the Eubank fight?
Yeah, for the Eubank fight. I think I would have probably performed better. I should have made the move sooner.
Obviously, with the Eubank fight, the result aside, I was obviously fighting in Wales for the first time, I think, in a good few fights when a main event like sold out the Motor Point pretty fucking fast. I mean, all the fight week was bonkers. I was kind of as an all for fight week. Yeah,
it was mad. It was an unbelievable feeling because obviously the support and everything I received was next level. It was sold out. I sold 150 grams worth of tickets from my mother's house. Just personally, just ring in a little, like, just bought a shitty temper.
Little burner phone.
Yeah, little burner phone, yeah. Sent the number out. 150 grams worth of tickets in, I think it was like a week or 10 days.
That's mental.
And yeah, it was overwhelming, to be honest with you, but, you know, great to have that fight in Wales again. It was obviously disappointing, the result. I wanted to smash his head in, but yeah, you know, shit happens and you move forward, you know.
What do you think about, like, his situation going on now with Ben? Like, how's that kind of, what do you see his next step now? Do you think he should take the Ben fight again in the future, or?
Probably not, to be honest with you. I think at the end of the day, if Ben had failed a drug test, he's lost his opportunity, and
the ship have kind of sailed, I think, a little bit as well, haven't they? Because, like, it's going to be, like, they can talk about this B sample and all this shit, but like,
the A sample is the B sample.
This is what I was just going to say. Like, I'm tested by USADA, which is kind of like they'll send UCAD out. The A sample and the B sample are exactly the same thing. The only reason they take a B sample is in case the A sample gets lost. The A sample is not going to be any different to the B sample.
Simply, you're having a piss. You stop it for a minute and you do it. It's just
you tip fucking one half in A and one half in B.
I think that's
exactly the same.
I think that's what people don't understand. They think, the B sample,
a separate test.
It might be a week later. It's a different piss. No, it's not. Bryce said somewhere else the other day, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes off for the minimum, whatever, ban for this. Because he's going to say that his missus is having trouble having another kid or whatever. She's been taking whatever, and he's been going down, or they've been shagging her.
Try and make people feel sorry for him a bit.
Yeah.
But he's going to say that's going to be a story. It's gone into a system that way. And I'm sorry, but I can't help my missus having trouble.
No. It's like, it's a tough one, because I was a big Ben fan, but it's kind of like...
So am I, by the way. I sound like I'm a bit of a hater.
Yeah, no.
I like him.
I completely agree. Like, I really like them, like his style. I even like the fact that he kind of got written off early on for, like, it's only because he's Nigel Ben's son, and then he obviously put his streak together. But it's like, a failed drug test is like it doesn't scream to me. I don't know. I don't know what you think on it, but didn't he like relinquish his license voluntarily or something like that?
Yeah.
Now, if you're in, like, if I did a drug test and it come back that you've tested positive, and I legitimately in my own mind I hadn't, I don't think I would be. I would
going to say, fuck no, I'm going to prove my innocence.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know. There's a guy. Do you know Yoel Romero? Yoel Romero used to fight in the UFCs in Bellator now, and he got popped by USADA. And to be honest, you look at him and you think, yeah, he's juicing. But he was adamant. He was like, no, I haven't. And he fought the case for about 2 years. They tried to ban him. Like I say, it wasn't kind of like he didn't accept his ban. He kind of like appealed the ban, fought the case, and it ended up being a tainted supplement. And they retested the supplements that he had, and it came back tainted. So he then took them to court and ended up winning a lawsuit for like 27 million for what's it called when they kind of like defam, what's it called, they do something to his character anyway, defamation of character. Yeah. And like, so to me, I'm thinking he obviously in his head knew he was innocent, because otherwise he wouldn't have fought the case, because it would have cost him a good couple of mil to fight the case. So I kind of think to me, like, Conor Benn and Shia Cash, like, if he wanted to... He
could have done that, and I'm not being funny, but Eddie and them lot probably would have paid for it anyway.
100%. Because if they could have got that fight as a big money fight for the pair of them, if they could get that fight to happen, I thought they were going to go and do what David A did and have fucking some mad boxing board from Germany or something to it.
Yeah, but they probably will now.
Yeah, well, I think they'll have to.
That's what they're going to do now.
Because if VADA tested him, was it VADA testing?
Yeah, people are saying he's never going to be able to fight in Britain again.
Because it's...
But VADA, they say now he's going to go to America. But VADA American...
Yeah, VADA are kind of like USADA is this, like, but the boxing version. So it's like, I don't know.
It's voluntary.
The thing he got pinged for, like, I know a couple of juicers, and they're like, that's what you take when you're cycling off. When you're cycling off steroids.
Yeah, but
get out your system.
Even that alone, apparently, it does boost your levels.
And then you add up like the outside fight, he's going up 2 weights or whatever it is.
Isn't this like a story? Well, not a story, but so basically, yeah. Did you watch much of Conor Benn from back when he first started?
Yeah.
When everybody was saying he was shit. And
Yeah.
They righted him off, yeah. So there was a fight with somebody, and by the way, when Conor Benn first started, he couldn't punch for shit, yeah. He couldn't hurt anybody. And he had a fight with a journeyman, and he was cracking the guy, wasn't really hurting him. And this guy put Conor Benn down as well. It appeared that he didn't have much of a chin, yeah. And then all of a sudden, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights go by, and he's whacking people out. He's taking big shots on the chin, and they're not affecting him, yeah.
Kind of turned to his old man, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's like...
But how?
What does that say? I don't know. I feel terrible saying it because I don't want to, say that he's guilty, because he might not be. But that sends signals to people, doesn't it? And certainly to me, because I think, well...
It's all pointing in that direction, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the outside looking
like
in.
we said, it will run its course. So, I mean, ultimately, if he does get a ban, obviously, he is guilty. If he does fight it, we'll know eventually, and fingers crossed he do prove us wrong, but it doesn't look good. I don't think, anyway, to test for that supplement as well, because it's not like it's something, again, going back to Romero, it's not like it's not like it was positive for something that you can think, oh, well, that could be from a tainted supplement. It was kind of like, no, that you one reason you'll be taking this is for this reason. That
wouldn't have got in the system any other way than fucking taking it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So it's... Guys, want to give a big thank you to today's sponsor. We're sponsored by You're Never Alone, which is a men's mental health support group. They're based in Brimau, run by one of my training partners, Jordan Paul. Just some quick bits of info. The old weekly group meetings where men from all walks of life can come and socialise, make friends, and realise that they're not alone in this world. There will be bi-weekly walks coming up, and they are currently paying for some men in the group to have some private counselling sessions that they don't have to wait such a long time, which can be up to 6 to 12 months on the NHS, which, as we know, can sometimes be too late when it comes to mental health. It's a silent killer, so 6 months is a long time to wait. The message for We're Never Alone is to try and change the way the mental health in men is being handled. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and there's a WhatsApp support group. So if you do want to be at that, message them direct, and they can add you. Link to all of their socials will be in the description, and we'll get the logo up as well throughout the episode. So yeah, a big thank you to the men's mental health charity You're Never Alone, and don't forget to follow them, support them, because they're fighting a good cause. I don't know, boxing's in a bit of a mad fucking thing at the minute there, between like...
I know what you're going to say,
Go on.
The weekend, yeah. Yesterday? No.
Sunday, yeah. So you've got like Mayweather's fighting YouTubers, you've got Tommy Fury's missing weight by like 8 pounds and then fighting some fucking random guy. You got John Fury in the ring
with his top off,
trying to fight Jake Paul, saying he'd fight Mike Tyson to the death. You got Jake Paul. I don't know, it's a fucking mad situation, ring, because Jake Paul is a YouTuber, and at the minute he's kind of got like more validity than someone like Tommy Fury.
He's more of a fighter than half the fucking rest of them.
Yeah,
he looks more professional than Tommy Fury, doesn't he?
Over the past couple of months, I've slagged him off many times, right? But I hold my hands up, I'm starting to like him.
Do you know what? It's funny because I was exactly the same as you. Like when he's coming out and he's calling out all like the old UFC fighters, and I was saying like he's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? He's going to have his comeuppance. But then it's kind of like, again, I've come full circle on it because I'm like, at least he's in there fucking fighting.
And he's actually not too bad.
He's getting better, isn't he?
He's improving, so you have to give him credit for that.
You have to give, like, I say this to people who are like, he's fucking shit, he's a YouTuber. I'm like, well, no. He was a YouTuber 3 years ago, but he's half turning in to a pro athlete. Like, the guy's got unlimited funds, he's got hundreds of millions, and this is all he's doing all day, every day. So he is obviously going to get better.
He don't need to be doing it.
You know, when people are saying to me, like, oh, the Anderson Silva fight was rigged, paid him to take a dive, and it's like...
He ain't taking a dive for money.
Have you watched the fight? Like, he hasn't took it. I don't know. I don't know.
And not just that, he's a proud man as well.
Yeah, I don't think someone like Anderson Silva would... It's the same with the Woodley fight, when he face planted him. They're like, oh, he took a dive, and it's like, have you ever been... like cracked with a shot and have you ever tried to land like that on purpose?
You can just decide to fucking send yourself to sleep.
You're hell of an actor if you can land on your face.
Down. I don't know, but it's coming full circle with Jake Paul, because I'm thinking like there's not many. Well, you know yourself, there's not many like Tommy Fury fighting when he was 5-0. It wasn't someone. And Anderson Silva's an old man, but he can still do a bit.
I will say as well, I will bet quite a bit of money that Jake Paul actually beats Tommy Fury as well.
Do you think they'll fight?
I hope they do, because I want to stop all this. I want to see an end to all this bullshit. Like Tommy Fury's just going to fight the men, and it's just boring. John Fury, taking his top off and gorilla slapping himself. Just like. I'm a little bit fed up with it, and I actually don't mind John Fury. I like Tyson Fury as well, but it's all just a bit like
it's turned kind of like the WWE.
It's a circus, man. Yeah. We've heard enough.
I think that is the fight to do, because I think if Jake Paul beats or fights Tommy Fury, it's kind of like, all right, he's fought a real boxer, and I think it's the same for Tommy Fury. Then they can, they'll have to kind of stop saying, oh, well, he's not fighting nobody.
You can just put it to bed, guys.
Just put it to bed.
And that's all we want.
Yeah.
I think Jake wins that as well, though, to be honest. Yeah. Looking at who they fought up till now.
Well, yeah.
See how Tommy's...
I wouldn't be surprised if he was the favourite.
I hope John Fury doesn't see this. He's going to fucking come after me.
He'd be gorillaing you now next time he sees you. You wouldn't want him running at you with his top off, to be fair.
But he's fucking nuts, and he is. It was just... They all like the fact... Like, don't be wrong, I'm not knocking Mayweather, because he's making fucking 100 million for fighting a... Not even fighting a YouTuber, for sparring a YouTuber, but it's like, it's fucking nuts.
Who's paying to see it now, though? Fucking hell, I'm not... Are you paying to see it, like?
No,
fucking hell.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you?
I'm gutted. I feel ashamed of myself. I wrote on Twitter as well.
At least he's honest. Like,
I admitted it on Twitter. People give me stick, like, Liam, what the fuck are you playing at? Mental.
It was like a mad old set. You had like Andrew Tate then cage ringside getting in fucking Jake Paul's face. Like, you don't know if them two are gonna fight. Jake Paul must want to fight Tommy Fury to be there.
He seemed a bit shy, that Tate, though, didn't he? He's normally very, very mouthy, and Jake Paul got in his face, and he was just a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit weird because you don't know what's real and what's not of him at the minute. You don't know if they've set, like, they did a stare off in some gym in Dubai as well, and it's kind of like, well, obviously you've set that up because was like a professional camera crew and they're filming. They both got their tops
It's not
on.
exactly somebody on a phone.
No, exactly. So it's like, you don't know. Maybe they will fight, but I like Andrew Tate, and he's a good kickboxer, but Jake probably knocked him out in a boxing match as well.
Yeah.
You see how big Jake actually is then, though, don't you? Because next to Top G, like, he doesn't look that
and
small, does he?
like Andrew Tate, I've seen pictures of Andrew Tate next to people who I know from like the MMA scene. Obviously, he's a big fucking guy, and Jake Paul didn't.
Is he a good kickboxer?
He's a really good level kickboxer. He's like 4-time world champ. Like if you go on YouTube, there's all videos of him from about 10 years ago. But he's a legit kickboxer, K1 fighter. But you watch his style. He is a typical kickboxer. He's like side on. He's like hitting them with side kicks. He's like hands low.
Very bouncy.
He's not like, he hasn't got a boxing style. You know what I mean? If you put him in with Jake Paul and G can't kick Jake Paul, you'd be hard to hit for a couple of rounds. But then it's kind of like once he works him out, like any good boxer is going to beat him in a boxing match. Yeah. Just like you'd probably beat any good boxer in a kickboxing match. You know what I mean? But
each their own.
But he is a legit kickboxer. He also fought of for about. Well, he fought a couple of years ago in Romania against some fucking guy who was fucking
just
useless.
One of them,
but
just to keep his name relevant. Like.
But he hasn't fought like a legitimate kickboxer for about probably 7 or 8 years now. But like credit where he's due, he was a good level kickboxer back, and his brother was the same as well. His brother was a decent level as well.
Be awesome if they had an MMA fight, wouldn't it? Because it would kind of Jake's done like wrestling in high school or whatever.
Well,
mix it up a little bit.
Or kickboxing fight or something. Because Jake's a bit fucking nuts. I think if the money's right, he'll do anything. Like he wanted to go to UFC and fight fucking Masvidal, and like
that's why I like him though, because he seems a bit mad, like.
And he'll back it up, like
he's game as well, yeah.
He's putting himself in all these rooms though, and he's putting himself in shit situations that a lot of people would be scared to do when they're running their mouth on.
Well, like Brendan,
he's there doing it, like
Brendan Sharp said about him and Logan in an interview, and they kind of like when Logan fought Mayweather, and they were like, "Can you imagine the pressure he's feeling?" They he's like, no, these two grew up as like actors on the Disney Channel. He's like, so a couple of cameras and a crowd is not going to make a blind bit of difference to him. All right, they're going to be nervous because you're going to have a fight.
Probably put them in good stead there.
But the pressure and stuff, they're not going to feel pressure because of the cameras and because of the ticket sales and stuff like that. They are anomalies, really. They're two fucking YouTubers, but they are legit athletes as well.
It popped off when he nicked Floyd's hat, didn't it?
Yeah, they filled him in a bit.
Kicked off.
I think he had a couple of clips there.
Yeah, he had a little.
He don't.
He did get a bit of come up with that one.
Yeah,
he's thinking, it's going to be quality views on that, so he don't give a fuck.
That's the side of him I don't like. The childish, just bullshit. When he's saying about getting tattoos with Woodley, and just if you're gonna, I respect him for what he's doing in terms of he's dedicating himself and that, but just leave all that shit aside, like.
I think if he legitimately does want to be like a world champion or have a legit boxing career, like you said, you've got to knock a bit of that on the head because he's got his name now. People are paying anyway because they want to see him get fucking knocked out. But ultimately, he's got to kind of knock all that shit on the head, I think.
Yeah.
We got a couple of questions for him, John.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions. Yeah.
Off our Patreoners and buy that in the link if you want.
Get on it.
Actually, him a question now because he'd be gone. But
what's your thoughts on Fury versus Chisora and then making that fight?
I think it's a bad fight, to be honest with you. Fury's already beat him twice, and they weren't even close fights. And since then, Tyson Fury's got a lot better, and Chisora's actually aged and gone down a little bit more, and he's took a lot more knocks. So overall, I think the fans are getting ripped off, if I'm being honest with you.
Why do you think they went with that instead of Joshua? I know they're talking about like the negotiations and stuff, but it's like, it's as if they give Joshua a deadline and that didn't happen, and then they was like, oh, well, we'll negotiate for another 2 weeks now, which is all right to make. Like, I would
so they could have just give
Joshua another week, if that. I probably wouldn't even needed.
Or they could have given him 4 instead of because it took the same time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, God knows, mate. God knows.
Because I know you make a shitload of money from it, Fury, anyway, but he probably would have made a lot fucking more fighting
100%,
Joshua than he would Chisora.
I think that's just a power play, though, isn't it? A little bit. He's just trying to flex a bit.
Yeah, it's one of them, and then they're gonna sell, the pay-per-views or TV channel, whatever it may be. But I think I don't think there's going to be a great deal of people tuning in.
No,
but no, there will be a lot of people tuning in. I think it'll be a lot of people interested, but they're gonna tune in simply because it's Fury.
Yeah.
Not for any other reason.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the Mayweather thing. That's the only reason why I bought it.
Because it was Mayweather.
The show was shocking.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not as bad, but...
yeah. Hopefully fucking not. Anyway.
Yeah.
You still think like, yeah, they could have like a bit of a war, couldn't they? A little bit, but...
I don't know. I think it'll be as much of a fight as fucking Tyson want to make it. I think if Tyson want to go and blow him out,
Chisora's game, isn't he?
yeah, and he's tough.
But is he going to get close enough to make...
It's like, the way I kind of look at it is like, he's game, but he's not any more game than Dillian White was game. And
No, definitely
at
not.
his age and the stage in his career, I don't know what he's going to like kind of throw at Fury that could possibly
Yeah, I was
throw him off.
big-
No.
Tap with 2 jabs and swing a big overhand right.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
It's not going to work, is it?
What's your thoughts on Cordina being stripped?
I think, he was out of order, really, wasn't he? I think they jumped the gun. It happened pretty soon, didn't they? They didn't give him much option. But what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, if I don't really know what the exact ruling was, but you know, they're not going to change it for one guy in Wales. Like they're going to, it's a bit harsh, really. And
Do you think it would have been different if he was a Conor Ben, or if he was a big...
Quite possibly. I don't really know, but I think...
Even if he won... It seems like the Welsh boys get the short end of the stick a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think if you've had a bigger name, then imagine there was Canelo.
Yeah.
Never in a million
Well, I'm
years.
sure I seen somewhere that Errol Spence was like IBF champion, so the same governing.
He still is, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it was like what they're saying is he had his car crash, then he come back and was due to fight. Then the fight got rescheduled because he was injured. So I think it panned out over like 18 months that he didn't defend the belt, and they didn't strip him.
Exactly.
Probably because of who he is.
What was Joe's? About 3-4?
If that, I think. When did he win it?
3 months.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago.
Wasn't long, was it? May or June, something like that. Maybe even later than that. August, I think it might have been.
Let's just say it was 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fucking long.
Is he going to get the winner though?
Yeah.
Is he?
So they're saying at the minute.
Is that? Yeah. Well, I hopefully he does get that. Because I said it seemed a bit of a rush thing. Then it was like didn't give him much option, but I feel for him. You know, all them years of hard work, dedication, to have a fantastic win the way he did, to then be stripped, it's like it's a proper kick in the balls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
definitely. What's your favourite win from your career?
I think probably Mark Efron, simply because it wasn't.
Where was that one to?
It was in Manchester Arena.
That's right, I remember that one.
It was, and the reason why it was the biggest for me is because kind of a situation where I'm in now. You know, where I've come off a loss, and people are writing me off. People are saying, "Oh, after this fight, he's going to get knocked out. After this fight, he's going to be done. He's going to have nowhere to go," and it was one of my best performances. So I quite like being under the pressure, and people are writing me off because I fucking...
Was that a British title fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You banged him about pretty bad.
Yeah, I get that. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. But I get that feeling of like, it makes me nasty, and I'm thinking, I'm going to fucking prove these bastards wrong.
Yeah.
Like, watch this. So, yeah, you know, that he was satisfying for me.
Do you think, like, you know, MMA and boxing, in MMA, you can take a loss and they don't really write you off, do they? You can always come back from a loss and build yourself back up. But in boxing, it seems a little bit harder, doesn't it? Because they've always got, like, a built-up record sort of thing.
Boxing is like, I love boxing, don't get me wrong, but boxing's full of dogs. It's like, it's just every man for himself. It's like, yeah, it's a bit shit, really, when you look at it that way. Because you can... Everybody's on board. Everybody absolutely loves you, and they're singing your praises. They're bigging you up. You have one loss, and all of a sudden, you're a piece of shit, and you're on the sideline.
Yeah,
it's like that's what I don't like about it.
Would you like to see boxing maybe go down a more of an MMA route where you have your 1 or 2 warm-up fights as a pro, and then you start fighting 50-50 fights, or do you think, as it is at the minute, it kind of works? Because you see some boys, they have like 15, 20 fights against nobodies, don't they? And then before they even like consider having a step up.
Yeah, I think it should definitely be the way you said, the UFC kind of route. Maybe, it's like, doesn't even have to be 50-50, but like give some people a chance who haven't got that. So you can have like maybe voluntary defenses here and there. If you've had a couple of hard back-to-back fights, maybe.
But give him a guy who's going to at least try and win, not just come in and
not like
get rolled over.
There's somebody I know, I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to out them. But there's somebody retired now, and they had 16 fights, unbeaten, 16-0, yeah. And they had 16, I think, don't take my word exactly, but I think it was 16 4-round fights.
16.
16-0. Yeah, he looks like he got a great record, but look at it, and he's had 4-round fights.
Yeah.
Against Journeyman. What the fuck? That's mental.
It can be deceiving, can't it? It can be
Mental.
very deceiving. Because if you see someone in MMA who's 10, 11, 12 and 0, they're 9 times out of 10
they're good.
They're legitimate because they've had probably one maybe warm-up, one, like you said, 2 or 3 fights where they were due to win, but the guy was going to fight them back, and then they probably had 5 or 6 tests. It's a bit mad, isn't it, that they do, like you said, some 16-0 with 16 4-rounders. It don't make a lot of sense.
It's weird that they got all the different rounds as well, isn't it? That you do like a 4 and then
4,
build
6,
yourself
8, 10,
up sort of thing.
12 obviously, but I do think that in terms of the rounds, I think that's a good way of bringing people through, because like I remember when I was fighting as amateur, my last I only had a couple of senior fights. I won a Welsh title. I'd done 3 rounds, and I was thinking, like, how am I ever going to be able to do 12 rounds?
Yeah,
it's impossible. That's me. I'm never going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But then you do 4, think, fuck me, that was quite hard. Then 6, it's just you get
conditioned to it.
You get conditioned, and the experience brings you through. And now it's come to the point where I can go in the gym and I can spar 10, 12 rounds if I'm only semi-fit,
Because you got like that baseline.
It's that experience.
Your body's used to it.
You know how to maneuver people, if you stand and feel the pace a bit, you slow them down a bit. And
that probably comes with experience, like you said, comes with experience, doesn't it?
Exactly, mate.
I find that as well, like you say, I'll spar a couple of the amateur boys in the gym, and for a fucking round, they'd like lunatics. But then you kind of know like the second round and the third round and the fourth round, because they're used to 3-minute rounds instead of 5 5s. They're going to be blown up their ass then come the third round.
They set off a bit fast then.
Yeah. Or if we do like 5-minute rounds then sparring, because they're only used to 3, they're fucking electric for 3 minutes. But then the 4th minute and the 5th minute, you just see they start to slow. And like you say, with experience, you know how to maneuver them, how to slow them down a little bit. So I think the rounds is a good thing. It's just I personally would like to see more 50-50 fights early on. Because I'd be more interested in watching it. Like there was a Welsh show, I think it was down in Cardiff or something a couple of weeks ago, and there was a couple of boys I kind of knew on it. I would have liked to have gone and watched, but I looked at the fight card and there wasn't one.
What was that? The one in the Vale?
I think it was the one in the Vale, yeah. And there wasn't really one 50-50 fight on it. I think every single boy on there was up against a guy. You could see, like the record was like 380 or 1-20.
Yeah, like you just said that 3 wins, 80 losses.
Now it's great if that's your friend because you'll buy your ticket one. But for me, who's someone who would just go and watch a boxing show, it's like I'm not going to pay.
As a fan, you ain't paying.
I'm not paying 50 quid to go and watch fucking 8 fights where I know who the winner is before they even start fighting, or there's no excitement in it. Then, is it?
You're exactly right, mate. It's not good as a just a normal fan who wants to go and watch some entertaining fights. Then.
Yeah, and ultimately, to make the money and to build a following, you've got to pull in fans that annoy your friends. You've got to be able to pull in ticket sales of people who, don't necessarily know you.
Wider audience.
Why would they want to come and watch you or come and watch a show if there's no fight on there where there's a chance of a bit of a war or a bit of a tear-up or a couple of knockouts?
Yeah, 100%.
Because a lot of these journeymen, they are good, aren't they? And you do a 4-rounder, they're not going to get knocked out. They're good enough. They could even be better than the opponent a lot of time, but they know if they win this week, they're not going to get a fight next week.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's like they know they have to stay in there because they got to fight next week or whatever, so they're not going to get stopped. They're very tough. But then after the time they also done stick it on the other guy, thinking they can beat him, because if they do beat him, they're not going to get work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The other promoters are going to think, nah, I'm not going to put my
Too
guy
much of a risk.
in with this guy just in case he beats him. So it's like, yeah, it's all the fuck really.
Yeah, it's fucked, isn't it? Because like, you do have journeyman in MMA, but they're not. When I say journeyman, it's kind of like they won't come and roll over. They're like kind of, you know this guy will beat him, but you give him half a chance, he's going to try and win the fight because it's different.
They just are what they are.
Yeah,
they're going to put up a fight, and you know, if they end up beating you, they end up beating you. But
yeah, exactly that. Yeah. Go on, Joe. What have we got?
If you could have one dream fight with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Golovkin probably. So there's two reasons. Because Golovkin, I've always loved Golovkin. I've always looked up to him, you know, as a fighter and everything. Yeah, so that's one. I've always looked up to him. And number two, he's also on the slide now, and he's not as good as he once was. So I think I'll beat him.
Yeah. Do you reckon that's a fight that could happen, like, in the future?
Yeah, probably not, to be honest with you. Now I think he's probably only got one or two left, any. And I'm obviously where I am. Need to get one or two wins as well and get back up to that world level. But never say never, I guess.
No, you never know, do you? Any new Welsh prospect to keep an eye on for the future?
Probably on the spot there. I don't really want to say any names now, just in case I forget anybody. But there's obviously a couple of boys coming through. You got Rhys Edwards, who trains in the same gym as me, lives nearby as well. He's very good, massive talent. Got like Kieran Jones, couple of boys at the gym. You got that young Zach Carvel, Kane. I can't remember their second names now. Terrible with names, you know. But there's a couple of boys out of like Lockett's gym and that. Yeah, I'll leave it at that, to be honest with you. But there is a good few coming through.
Yeah. So like, question from me: if there's like a younger lad making their way up through the rankings, or whatever, like what would be your number one advice for them?
Just I would say mainly don't get sidetracked and don't fall into the temptations of all the shit, you know, that's around. Especially if you live in here, like in the valleys and stuff. There's a lot goes on, so I think just stick to what you're doing. Yeah. And
you said when you got here, you've probably seen a few rough people outside. Did you on sticking to the path?
Yeah, but to be honest with you, there's probably no more rough people around here than there is in my area. You know, everybody, every place has the certain amount of drug addicts. And, you know,
like you said, the temptation's always there, isn't it? If you look hard enough for anything, you'll kind of find it wherever you are. So
if you look hard enough, you find it 100%.
Especially like when you were starting to get successful in the boxing, whatever, I suppose you're getting more people wanting to bother with you, wanting to like kind of ride your wave of hype or whatever in it. And
yeah, exactly.
That brings other temptations as well, doesn't it?
Everybody wants to have a drink with you and whatever. Yeah, everybody loves a winner, don't they? Yeah. And that's why, like, off subject a bit now really, but since I lost my last fight, I've noticed, you know, like, ticket sales, this next fight, I've sold still a good few, but like nowhere near the amount I told you about Eubank, because in the York Hall, Northern Water Point, it's not a big thing. You know, people ain't asked, people want to be, when the limelight is there, people want to be involved, and like, oh yeah, I'm Liam Williams, his friend, I'm here to support him, we're in the O2 Arena, this kind of thing. What else was there? Sponsors as well. Also, I've had a load drop off, and that's another thing. All these things kind of motivate me, because I'm thinking, you're a fucking, I don't want to upset people, but I'm thinking, you're a fucking...
fucking upset them.
You're a fucking shitbag, do you know what I mean? Because you've been riding the wave while I've been up, and all of a sudden I have one loss now. Well, two, but one, my last fight. And now... You're not really interested in...
You recognise who kind of got your back and who got good intentions.
Business is a bit quiet and, you know, we can't really do this stuff. Which, if it was, then, you know, well done. You know, keep pushing. I hope it all works out for you. I really do. But you know when that ain't the case.
Yeah, of course you do.
And they just, you know, palming you off.
Palming you
But Yeah, it's like, it's one of them. And if I'm being honest with you, it's all motivation. And I'm using all that kind of stuff to, and do you know when these people want to come back when I'm back there? Fuck yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm going to go and get new sponsors.
Yeah, and like you said, it's easy to jump on board when someone's winning and ride the wave a bit, but not necessarily. Those same people are not the same people about when you pick up a loss. So.
It shows you, doesn't it? It shows you who is there to actually support you and want the best, and
yeah, 1,000,000%.
rather than for the what they can do out of it.
100%. Any more, Joe?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on older fighters? Say, for instance, like Mike Tyson, Roy Jones coming back and doing exhibition fights.
It is what it is, isn't it? They're all-time greats, and I think people are always going to tune in to watch them, including myself. It's interesting, but if they fight in maybe another, retired fighter who's been out of the game for a little while, then fair enough. But it's a bit of entertainment, a couple of quid from, I guess. But the main thing which pisses me off in all this is the pay-per-view. If they're going to put it on Sky Sports or BT or whatever it may be. But I do think they're rinsing people in terms of, 20 quid pay-per-view per person and whatnot. So, I think, if you're going to do it, all the best to you. Have a couple of laughs, have a bit of fun, but don't be charging people mental money.
I think
and it is sorry, Jack, it is, I do think there is danger there as well.
Yeah.
Because they retired for a reason. They've been out of shape for a long time. They're not fit. They're not conditioned to taking the knocks anymore. And I think this sounds brutal, but I think it's going to come to a point where it's going to have to be something really bad happen
for something to be changed.
Potentially, God forbid somebody dies. Yeah, I think it's going to take something along those lines to happen before.
You've seen it with was it Holyfield just fought Vito Belfort didn't he, a couple of months ago, and basically I think they declined him a license in New York, I think about 8 years ago.
So he's went elsewhere
because of his brain scan or something like that. And then he ends up fucking fighting Vito Belfort on Triller and gets smoked in about a minute, and it's like, well, that can't be good when they say...
They didn't give him the reason for a license.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
Even if you're old like that, though, and it's two older guys fighting, they may not be able to take the shots, but they can still probably throw the shots pretty hard, can't they? So they're still getting it pretty...
Yeah, they definitely can, but as I said to Jack, there's that's not the idea of, the safety.
No, exactly.
If you want to go and throw a couple of heavy shots, just go and hit the fuck out of the bag.
Yeah.
But you need to be able to take shot, and these older guys, potentially something bad could happen.
100%. It's like you say, I think it'll take something bad happening before it's kind of knocked on the head.
And I hope not, but unfortunately that's the way it is.
It's sad when it's just like a cash grab as well, isn't it? When they're just trying to do it for the money. If they find themselves in that position or whatever, you like to think, like you guys or whatever, you be a pro athlete, you like to think you'd be able to earn enough money from dedicating your life from a kid, wouldn't you, to be able to see you through, sort of thing?
Yeah, hopefully, you have to become a bit lucky as well, but, if you have a good run and, potentially, but I think people will also be surprised that, I think I boxed years ago. I think I'd done like an 8-round fight, yeah. I was out on the piss afterwards. I was in Ponty, and somebody comes up to me, "Oh, Liam, how much did you have for that fight? Like, you must have got $500,000. I think there's two things here. Number one, you nosy bastard, don't ask me how much.
No, I'm never going to tell you anyway.
And number two, you're a fucking total idiot. Go back to bed because you're dreaming. $500,000 for an 8-round. Are you alright?
It's
must have been about
fucking...
$2,000.
Someone said to me a couple of weeks ago, "Oh, fucking hell, I seen online, they said you're worth 2.2 fucking mil." I said, "I fucking wish." I said, wouldn't be an happily ever suppose if I fucking was, would I?
Somebody said the same to me, like, what do they call it? Net worth, yeah? Somebody said to me, "Oh, you worth 2 million or one..." I don't know what it was, but it was a couple of million anyway. I'm so
Can you find it for me, like?
I wish.
Any more?
That's it, mate, I think.
I just got one quick one before we wrap it up. Obviously, you're going to win your fight now next week. This time in 12 months, where do you see yourself?
Hopefully, I see myself hopefully challenging for another world title. Maybe, yeah, probably not. I wouldn't have box one by now, I can imagine. But I think, yeah, this time 12 months on the verge of challenging for a world title again, and just in big fights in a big place.
Awesome.
Happy days.
Well, I think
Nice
it's a
one.
good place
Cheers,
to
mate.
wrap
Thanks
it.
all, lads.
As always, people, like, share, subscribe. You can catch Liam's fight next Friday.
Yeah,
Next Friday on
Friday,
Channel
25th.
5.
Yeah, Channel 5, 25th of November. Like, share, and subscribe.
Boom, we
Top
got
man.
it. Job
Boom.
done. Thank you, Lee.
Cheers, mate. Nice
Cheers,
one.
lads.
Get those what we trap for. Some man they wanna chat shit till I knock 'em ain't like I'm Jack
Level
Shaw.
to the game.
Rolls hot, roll stack, my flow shot like a hacksaw. Get